Hydrofoil windsurfing really sucks, is what you would say if you didn't have the foil, board and sail perfectly set up. A big chunk of windsurfers still haven't made the step onto the foil, and if they have, by now that probably is with a wing in the hands.
And that's probably why there haven't been a lot of foiling insights on here lately. And I get it, it does seem a bit scary and wiggly, it's another investment into your quiver, and it's hard to understand which foil you need and how to tune your gear right. But just like when you started windsurfing, it's actually a struggle that really pays off and is worth it. I can tell you that the right adjustments play a big role in wind foiling. Of course, having a pure foil sail is a big help in flying steady. They usually are designed with a higher aspect ratio, which gives you less backhand pressure, so you can absorb the gusts way easier. They also have a deep profile on the front, which makes them very controllable, and in combination with a high aspect ratio keeps the nose from rising easily. The good news is you can trim any windsurf sail a bit more forgiving and faster for foiling. The most important thing is to use a smaller sail than you normally would. The most control you will get when you barely have enough wind to get going and on the foil. When trimming your fin sail for foiling, you're gonna want to put less downhaul than what your sail manufacturer suggests. So I have these minimum and max points, and I probably want to put it to the minimum or maybe even below. So I'm going to release the downhaul. At the same time, you'll want to keep the outhaul tension rather tight. And as a rule of thumb, you could say that on a fin, you'll want the boom to touch the sail when pressure comes into the sail, and when foiling, you don't want it to touch the boom. And that combination creates a very nice deep profile in the front while reducing the backhand pressure, and yeah, that really makes it quite good for foiling. You want to keep the harness lines long, longer than you would normally use them. This gives you a bit more of a range of motion and a more secure feel. It also encourages you to use the right technique, meaning having your hips low so you can put tension on those harness lines. Of course, long is a bit relative, depending on your arm length, your boom width, and of course your level. For me personally, I use the harness lines around 6 inches longer than I would on a fin. On the board, there are 3 places where you will transfer the pressure from the sail to the board and ultimately into the foil. The back foot, the front foot, and the mast base.
Generally, we should mention that it'll be best to start with the foot straps and mast base in the middle position, so you can first get the foil tuned right. But more about the foil in a minute.
What most of us World Cup riders do in order to gain control is to set the foot straps further apart. For you, that could mean to put the back foot strap 1 plug further to the back and the front foot strap 1 plug further to the front. How that works is pretty self-explanatory. Now imagine yourself in no wind standing on your board, putting your feet quite far apart. Then afterwards, imagine yourself putting your feet all the way close together. Now, which way do you think you'd stay longer on the board? When it comes to how far outside your strap should be mounted, it really comes down to your level. If you're new to the foil, you'll want to be as centered over the board as possible. So you'll mount your straps further inside. Once you start getting comfortable and notice yourself placing the feet further outside already, then you can start moving them further to the outside. Obviously, with the feet further outside, you can create more leverage on the foil and go faster, but it'll also be a little bit more wiggly.
So the mast base is another great tool to get the trim of your board in the air right. Start in the middle, and if you need the nose higher after setting up your foil, you can bring the mast base closer to your feet. If the board still tries to rise too much, move it slightly to the front.
I know this has already been a lot of information, so this is probably a good moment to remind you of our online PDF guides. All our members do have the benefit of receiving this whole tutorial, including the following part, and get the chance to win a new prize every single month in our raffle. I have 2 amazing windsurfing experiences for you guys, and as you know, I have been here in Tenerife over the last month in this winter, and you could be here soon too. Apart from having access to all the written tutorials, all members will get the chance to win 1 week of gear rental in the TWS Center. Of course, they have all the latest knee pride sails and also all the other brands, as well as all the latest JP Freewave and Freeride boards. And the windsurfing spot here is super consistent. You get wind all year round. So basically, It's a candy store in a windsurfing paradise, and I'm sure one of you guys will enjoy it. But we also have a special experience for everyone who's not yet a member and just a viewer on this channel. Together with Surf Center and Jordi Wong, we're taking you to the biggest windsurfing race in the world, the Defi Wind, and Jordi will explain you how this will look like.
Yeah, like last year, this year we are organizing the Defi Wind experience, which is basically, I would say, the perfect travel to get perfectly prepared for the Defi Wind. We make sure you have a physical schedule, we make sure you have all the gear you need, we make sure you're mentally prepared to do most likely the most hardcore race in windsurfing there is. We will do one evening at Surf Center, which you can also do online. We train 2 days on location and we guide you through the whole event. So we really believe that if you want to do the Defi Wind experience is really the full package you can get.
In order to win, just leave a comment down below, be a subscriber of the channel and leave your email address in the link below. And if you don't want to bank on your luck to win this amazing experience and just join us, we still have a couple of places available. The link for that will also be down below and the winner will be announced by the end of the month. And now back to the video. And now lastly, and probably most importantly, the foil. The foil consists of the mast, the fuselage, the front wing, the rear wing or stabilizer, and hopefully a set of bolts.
The foil almost works like an airplane underwater. The asymmetrical profile in the front wing creates a pressure pushing the foil up. Your stabilizer extends far behind, and the further it's in the back, the more stable your lateral pitch will be. One important adjustment for you will be the angle of attack on your stabilizer. As a rule of thumb, you can say that the more you bring the trailing edge of the stabilizer up, the more your foil will want to climb to the surface of the water.
For you, it's going to be important to find an angle that matches your footstrap, foil and mast-based position. The easiest way to start is to go with the suggestions of the foil manufacturer. If your setup is a mix of brands, you might have to do the fine-tuning yourself.
Go onto the water and try to focus on how the pressure between your legs is distributed. If you have to get a lot of pressure on the back leg to even get the board out of the water, you're most likely missing more angle of attack in the stabilizer. And when you're up in the air, the pressure should be distributed evenly, with slightly more pressure through the back leg.
So increase the angle of attack slightly and step by step. Of course, with the shims that come with your foil, until you have the right weight distribution between your legs. If you can hardly put any pressure on your back leg without the feeling of the foil wanting to send you to the sky, then you probably have a little bit too much angle of attack. It's a feeling of your front leg getting pushed towards your body, while you should actually be able to stretch both of your legs quite a bit. Another important factor is the rake of your foil mast, compared to the board that is. Whether you can change this or not depends a bit on the box system you're using. For the foil connection with the WS box or deep tuttle box, the washers or shims are available. I will link them down in the video description. And with these washers you can change the rake of your foil mast. Most of the time you won't need to reduce the rake, but increase the rake. The rake will affect the lateral pitch of your board. And on a well-shaped board, in order for your board to glide smoothly through the wind and avoid hard nosedives, of course, you want the part between the straps and the mast base to be parallel with the water. So should your nose point down too much, you will want to increase the rake, meaning the angle between the board and the mast. And also with this step, increase it step by step, placing the washers or shims between the mast and the board until the board is parallel with the sea. And with all these tips and tricks, you'll hopefully be foiling super steadily. And like I said, it's gonna pay off, because hydrofoiling, you know, it's just like driving an electric car. Yes, of course, you don't have these hard splashes from the water anymore, but it's just another experience. And this feeling of efficiency is just a lot of fun, and you'll get a lot of more quality days on the water. And also, please do let us know in the comments how your foiling experience is going. I'm reading all of the comments myself, and I'm really curious how you guys are doing. And now get out there and have some fun.